Welcome to Classical 95.9 WCRI's Conducting Conversations with your host, Mike Mano. 1 hour of music and conversation with notable people in the arts, bringing you the stories of how music has impacted their lives. The show will give a behind-the-scenes look at the guest's background, interests, or special project.
Conducting Conversations is brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments. From sheet music and brand name instruments to rentals, repairs, lessons, and more. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.
And now here's your host, Mike Mano.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Conducting Conversations. Tonight, it's a pleasure to welcome back to our studio the world-famous and talented Catherine Gagnon is back. Welcome back, Catherine.
Hey, Mike. It's wonderful to be here.
Nice to have you with us. She is the music director of the Warwick Symphony Orchestra. It's been a while since we've been together, although we've done many shows over the years. And we want to talk about some concerts coming up in just a few weeks. December 4th, there's going to be concert number 1 at St. Bernard Church, Tower Hill Road, North Kingstown. And that's going to be at 3 o'clock on the 4th, Sunday afternoon. And then a Saturday in December 10th, 7:30 at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Patuxent Village in Cranston. So we'll talk about both of those things as well as the orchestra and how things have been going. But first, a little bit about you. It's been a while since we've seen each other. So what's new in your life? You've won the Powerball. You won... No, huh?
I wish.
Okay, all right.
Not for lack of trying.
All right, well, it's good to have you with us, and we'll talk about the Warwick Symphony Orchestra. And so those of you that might be listening that aren't that familiar, if you're not right in the Warwick area, then we should say that the orchestra has been going for, about, 40 years, something like that?
Actually, a bit more. This is our 56th season of music making.
Wow. So it's been a while, and you're the 4th or 5th music
I believe
director?
I'm technically the 5th.
5th,
music.
okay.
Yeah.
And you've been there for quite a few years now.
Yes. Last year I celebrated my 10th anniversary, so I have been music director since 2011.
And you started at 15.
Exactly.
so 10 years. That is quite an accomplishment, and it's great that things have been going that long. I don't know that we've done a show since the pandemic. I don't think we have. So let's just touch on that for a little bit. A lot of the groups that come on are just getting back to normal. And I presume that's the same case for you, where things are just getting back in the swing of things, right?
Yes and no. Back to a more normal. We actually were very fortunate that Warwick Symphony did not have to fully shut down for a full year. We closed our doors in March of 2020, but we actually did begin again in fall of 2020, rehearsing in small pods and ultimately producing some performances in May of 2021. So we basically spent the whole season preparing for one series of concerts.
Right. And was any of that done via Zoom and that kind of thing? Did you have those meetings also, like everybody else?
Actually, well, we explored a lot of new technology, but we rehearsed in person, distanced and masked. It was definitely a challenge. Yeah. Had pretty strict protocols in terms of testing and precautions otherwise. But we did rehearse live and in person for the full year. And then when it came to concert time in May of 2021, we did perform live with a limited audience over at the GAM Theater in Warwick, and then recorded for the very first time for an event that was posted to Eventbrite.
Wow. Okay. So you never really stopped. You were busy the whole time. Probably busier than normal if you try to figure out how to do all that, right?
Absolutely. It was a challenge, but it was definitely worth doing, and we've maintained some of that technology through today.
Now, the Warwick Symphony Orchestra, by its name, Symphony Orchestra, has, probably 40 or 50 people?
We're a little bigger this season than in recent years. We actually have over 60 members at this juncture. And, folks who are amateur musicians, retired professional musicians, students who are highly accomplished. And we come together weekly to rehearse, and we're thrilled to be able to produce more of a normal concert season this year.
Okay, and if you'd like to check out their website, it's pretty easy to remember. It's WSORI WSORI.org. So Warwick Symphony Orchestra, RI.org. So WSORI.org. And I presume there's information there about the upcoming concerts?
Absolutely. We have 2 concerts in December. We're going to be doing a series of concerts also in spring. And then mid-season, we're kind of taking a bit of a deviation from our normal activities, and we'll be doing some chamber concerts with smaller mixed groups. And those will be based at the Warwick Public Library.
Excellent. All right. Well, tell us about what's going to be played at these concerts.
Sure. So in December, we are doing a very unique program. We've titled it Joyeux Noël, and it is a mixture of classical and holiday works from the French tradition. I got to spend a little bit of time in France last summer, which was a wonderful break and the first time I had left the country in a few years, and was sort of inspired by listening to some music while there to, do a somewhat holiday event this December, but to narrow it to some of the holiday music from the French tradition, and then to pair it with other classical pieces that are well known and some that are lesser known, in order to just simply explore the wonderful colors and melodies and harmonies that so many of the French composers can offer us.
Excellent. All right. And this first concert's going to be on Sunday afternoon, the 4th at 3 o'clock. Tickets are available, and they're extremely reasonably priced. So check out the website, and let's fill the auditorium. Right? Let's get that church filled up, St. Bernard Church on Tower Hill Road. And we have some music that you've brought with you. What's this first piece we're going to listen to?
So we're going to start with the Symphony Number 1 by Saint-Saëns. We will be performing the finale, the 4th movement of that particular piece. It's an absolutely terrific symphony, and it's very unlike a lot of the music that Saint-Saëns composed. He actually wrote this piece anonymously because it was sort of out of his normal scope of musical ensemble. It's a very large orchestra, complete instrumentation from the Romantic period, and even includes up to 4 harps.
Wow. All right. So we're going to listen to that, or a piece of that, and we'll take a short break and be back with more of the Warwick Symphony Orchestra. Warwick Symphony Orchestra is the subject of tonight's Conducting Conversations. I'm Mike Mano, very pleased to be sitting with Catherine Gagnon. She is the music director, and we've been talking about concerts coming up in just a couple weeks. Sunday, December 4th at 3 o'clock at St. Bernard Church, 275 Tower Hill Road in North Kingstown. And then on Saturday, December 10th, at 7:30 p.m. at the Scottish Rite Auditorium on Broad Street in the Patuxent Village, Cranston area. Most people in Rhode Island know it as in front of Roads on the Patuxent, in that area. So, Catherine, we talked a little bit about some of the music that was going to be, listened to some of the music that was going to be played. This next subject, we can't listen to the music because we don't have it with us, but people will be able to hear it in the concert. And it's a composer that is a little bit near and dear to my heart. I found it very interesting that this composer had to, as you said in the last segment, play a little bit of an anonymous thing going on. Well, in this case, this composer was always only known as C, as her first name, because she didn't want people to know she was a female. Well, speaking of Chaminade, and you said you went to France. Did you get any more information about her while you were there?
Unfortunately, not necessarily about her, but I've done quite a bit of research on the piece that we'll be presenting since choosing it. It's actually very rarely performed, and it's a shame that it is because it's such a wonderful piece. Chaminade is, of course, known most significantly for her salon music, piano pieces, and songs. Only considered to have written maybe a half dozen really impressive pieces for orchestra. This one is the Ballet Symphonique, and it was actually a wonderful ballet of 22 movements of music, premiered in Marseille, in the south of France in March of 1888. It received over 200 performances at that time, but has been rarely produced since. But the orchestral suite of 4 movements is a little bit better known. We will be performing 3 of those 4 movements this December, and we are absolutely thrilled to do it.
All right, and it's something that you're not going to hear every day in a lot of places, so get yourself out and support the Warwick Symphony Orchestra and listen to this beautiful music. Now, music that we do have that will be performed is coming up next. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's actually music by Georges Bizet. Georges Bizet was an advocate for Chaminade in her early years. He was a neighbor of her family and really supported all of her efforts as a pianist and a composer. He was, of course, a very, very well-known composer of operatic music, but we are going to be performing some of the incidental music that he created to the Daudet play L'Arlésienne. We will be performing 3 movements from the first suite and 3 movements from the second suite. And L'Arlésienne is generally translated as The Girl from Arles, and it is a quite poetic story of the magic of the Provençal countryside.
All right, so listen to this piece now and then a couple more in a minute. that we've listened to the overture, where are we going to go from here?
Well, we're going to take a listen to the third and fourth movement of the first suite, the Adagietto, which is for strings only. It's a lovely short little movement, as well as the Carillon. And the Carillon is very, very well known, often as an independent piece. It starts with this very, very, very raucous sound of French horns ringing the church bells. And it's heard quite often at the holidays, and one of the reasons why we selected this music.
Excellent. We'll listen to those two pieces, take a short break, and be back with more. Symphony Orchestra. Tonight's subject for conducting conversations, I'm Mike Mano, sitting with Catherine Gagnon, the music director, and we've been listening to some beautiful music, and there's going to be a lot more music played at the two concerts that are coming up in just a few days, actually. It seems like it's just around the corner, less than 3 weeks away, so you want to make sure you get your tickets for the first concert, which is going to be Sunday, December 4th at 3 o'clock at St. Bernard Church on Tower Hill Road in North Kingstown. And if you can't make that one, or you like that one so much you want to go to another one, then on Saturday, December 10th, at 7:30 at the Scottish Rite Auditorium, Broad Street in Cranston. And all of that information is available on the website, which is easy to remember, WSORI.org. And Catherine, a lot of people involved in putting on concerts like this. I know that you're the face, so to speak. You're the one that takes all the credit and all the blame.
Exactly.
and does all the work. But there are other people involved too, right?
Absolutely. We have a terrifically supportive board of directors. Of course, the 60-plus members of the orchestra. We couldn't make the music without them. They're wonderfully dedicated musicians. And then joining us for this December, we have 4 absolutely terrific singers joining us for some settings of French Christmas carol, Joyeux Noël, O Holy Night, a Basque carol, and Sing We Now of Christmas. Local emerging vocal artists, Christina Nero, Lee Ellis, Brendan Lewis, and Daniel Caramonte. So we're thrilled to have them joining us for this particular set of performances.
Excellent. And where does the vision for something like this come from? Do you just sit up at night and say, oh, here's what I'm going to do?
It's tricky, Mike. You have to, first of all, because we are a community orchestra with limited rehearsal time and limited resources, we have to pick programs that are accessible, certainly, to audiences, both in terms of the music that we present and also the cost, but also, that stretch the orchestra and that challenge them. And we love to, present music that is known, but also introduce audiences to music that is lesser known. That's very important to us. So I do have a few sleepless nights every now and then.
Now, the tickets, as I mentioned earlier in the program, are very reasonable. They're only $15. That's not a misprint?
Nope, not at all. 15 for general admission, 12 for seniors and students with ID. And as always, children 12 and under are free and encouraged to attend.
And I would guess that if you were in a position to perhaps pay a little more than $15, if they went to the website, they could donate and do it that way?
Absolutely. The WSO is a nonprofit organization. You have lots of ways to support us. There is the option of direct donation. Additionally, we sell merchandise, and the holidays are coming. We have some fancy schmancy new shirts, T-shirts, sweatshirts, bumper stickers, even water bottles and stadium blankets with our logo that are available through our website. And we also will have performances ongoing posted to Eventbrite, and ticket sales to that also support the organization.
Excellent. All right, let's get to, we have some more music. We got 3 more pieces we're going to listen to. Tell us about this first one.
So we're going to move on to the second suite from L'Arlésienne by Georges Bizet. And this one is, it is simply entitled Pastoral, and you will absolutely hear the countryside of France coming to life in this lovely setting.
Catherine. Beautiful music that you brought with us as usual, and it's going to be great to hear all of this live. And the 2 concerts, once again, just to wrap this up, December 4th, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, at the St. Bernard Church, Tower Hill Road in North Kingstown. And then on Saturday, December 10th at 7:30 p.m., Scottish Rite Auditorium on Broad Street in the Patuxent Village area. And tickets are available on the website. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And at the door.
And at the door, WSORI.org. And Catherine, thanks so much for coming in and taking the time to bring all this to our audience.
It's always a pleasure.
And we have 2 pieces of music left to go. Tell us what we're going to listen to.
Yes, the final 2 pieces on the concert in December, continuation of the L'Arlésienne Suite No. 2. First, we'll hear the Intermezzo, and then lastly, the very exciting Farandole.
Excellent. Thanks again, and we'll see the rest of you next time on Conducting Conversations. Conducting Conversations was brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments, using music and the arts to keep your child educated, entertained, and having fun. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.